Hello everyone, it's Sky here and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. So today we're going to be working on part 3 of our August color along. If you haven't seen the first 2 parts, I highly recommend going to do so. We've been working in Rita Berman's My Journey Through Asia, and we've been using the Derwent Inktense on this one, and I am loving the process so far. So the page that we have been working on is this koi fish pond page here. It's so pretty. I can't wait to see this finished. I have been kind of working on it upside down just because it's easier since I am right-handed and having the ditch here is a little bit inconvenient. I'll usually deal with it when I have to, but for this page, the orientation doesn't overly matter. So this is kind of how I've been working on it, and we're going to continue along today. I'm going to take a couple pieces of paper and just place them in behind here, and we're going to dive on in. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to sharpen my bright blue here. So we're definitely going to want a sharp point for this one. So this is going to be kind of like our shadow color. I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to do this, and honestly, I'm still not very sure. These aren't like normal lotus flowers, but I'm going to kind of color them as lotus flowers. They're probably something completely different that I just don't know the name of because I don't know a lot of flowers. These center bits here though, like I kind of want to make them yellow, but at the same time, I don't. So I don't know. We're just going to wing it. So I should probably use the swatches that I have placed out here. So let's go ahead in with the bright blue. Now these are going to be pink flowers, but I want to use some blues in along to kind of mix with it to make some deeper kind of purple colors. I think I'm going to leave the centers for now. We're just going to kind of leave it and see how it looks. I do have a little bit of a sore throat today, so hopefully my voice doesn't sound too bad. I don't think I'm sick or anything. My throat's been bugging me lately. I'm going to try to mostly focus this on the ones that kind of come out from behind. So these are kind of like, this one's more on top, this one's underneath, top, underneath, top, underneath, top, underneath, you know, kind of thing. So I'm going to focus more on the ones that are a little bit underneath and make them a little bit darker. But the ones on the top, I do want a little bit of this too. I'm just going to try and stay away from the edges and kind of leave it more towards the center. Put a little bit on these ones too. I'm not going to bring them all the way down to the bottom. I'm more going in like the bottom center, if that makes sense. I'm leaving a little bit of a highlight kind of around the edges here. Kind of like I did on this one, pretty much. I feel like these are bits that kind of like curve in like this. So I feel like under here would have a little bit of a shadow as well. I don't know, these flowers are a little bit confusing. There's so many different ways that they could go shadow-wise, so I'm gonna try to not overthink it too much and just make sure each one has a little bit of blue on it, and then it should be good. These I'm gonna color the same way as we did the ones over there. And actually, I just wanted to make sure that my phone doesn't have a limit on recording. It will if I start with a very low amount of space. So I've been really keeping an eye on that just in case I forget to upload the videos onto my computer and remove them from my phone. Well, I won't forget to upload them to the computer, but I might forget to delete them from the trash bin on my phone, like I was talking about in the previous color along. I don't think it was this one. I think it was the one before. I think it was Lotus. But yeah, I do often forget. So one thing that I really like about this phone is if I start a video and I have limited storage space, it will tell me how many minutes of film I can capture. Like for example, it will start at 0 out of like, let's say 47 minutes and 3 seconds. So as soon as I see that there's a limit to how long I can record, I know that there is a space issue. Oh, excuse me. I know that there's a space issue and then I need to get that sorted before I continue. Because Lord knows I get a little bit too into coloring and I forget to keep an eye on things. Okay, that should be good for the bright blue. Let's move into our next color, which is the Thistle. So this one's pretty much just going to go in with the bright blue. I think these are the ones that I'm going to mix a little bit. I might bring it out a little bit further on its own too, but I don't think we'll really need much. But see, this is already creating this absolutely gorgeous purpley color. I think I'm just going to go over the bright blue with this. So we're just going to go over it and purple it up a little bit. Very straightforward. Because I want to use, we still have the fuchsia to put in. And that's going to be our main color. And then I'm going to use the antique white as well, just to kind of dilute it down a little bit and keep some highlights in there. So that's the plan. We'll see how it goes. Sorry, guys. All right, fuchsia is next. So this I'm just going to pretty much lay in everywhere for the most part. I'm just going to leave little pops of white throughout, wherever I can. Mostly kind of around the edges here, because we really want these flowers to stand out. This already looks so pretty. It is just definitely going to look better once it's activated. I wonder if we even need the antique white. Let's start with this little one here. I just want to see. If we just very carefully don't bring the color to the edges completely, it should be okay. So I'm going to kind of go like around the edge first, and then I'm going to go into the color. I'm going to wipe my brush off a little bit because I want this color to be really soft, and then I'm just going to go back in and maneuver it around. I think that's probably okay. We'll just have to be careful. This way, going around the edge, the color bleeds into it a little bit and almost fades it itself. So it's basically just doing the work for us. That is beautiful. I think I need to do a mermaid with this color hair and tail. Unfortunately, seeing this in color though, like bold color, full color, whatever you want to call it, it's different than just dry. I don't know what color I want to do the centers of these. It's a lot of work, but it's definitely worth it. I feel like these flowers have probably taken a fair bit more time than I first thought they would, so I'm curious to see how long they actually took. I'm gonna guess half an hour before I actually look here when I'm done. Those turned out so much better than I thought they would. Oh, look at that. And it's almost right on the dot. That's actually quite impressive. Okay, so I'm just going to set the antique white aside because we didn't use that. Oops. Okay, so for the fish, I'm going to take a sip of my water here. Let's do a base of the tangerine to start. And we'll pick out some, well, I was gonna say we could pick out some accents to leave white, but I'll probably just come back in with a white pen, whether it be the Uniball Signo or the Posca pen or whatever. I'll come back with a white pen to kind of bring the white back out. Well, I might just leave some spaces white anyways. But this will be our predominant color. So let's see, for this one, let's kind of outline it almost. Outline it and fade in. And kind of fade out from the tail as well, kind of fading it out into white. I guess I probably shouldn't base, well, I could still base all of the fish. Ugh, phone's going off like crazy. Let me just turn my sound off. Okay. This one, let's have like a little bit of orange coming out from the inner petals, fading into white. This one is probably my favorite. This one's so pretty. And then the little flower petals turn into scales, and we're just going to do the same thing, have them orange and fade them to white. Let's have the head of this one orange. But do the same with the fins and kind of have it orange fading to white, I think. Let's do this one more of like a white fish with orange accents. So we'll color in these as the orange. And then do the fins all orange, I think. We are going to have some other colors in here, probably like some deeper versions of the oranges and whatnot. And then we are going to add white highlights kind of back in later on where we think is necessary. So okay, this one I want to have an orange face. We'll have this one maybe kind of fade into a white tail. And then we'll do this one kind of the opposite. We'll have like orange tips on the fins. Okay, and this one, let's add some orange in here. I want this one to be another one that's mostly white. I think like that. That one will be fairly white, yeah. Okay, let's pick a darker color. So that was the tangerine. I don't want to go too dark. I don't think I want to add reds in here. Oh, I'm so sorry. I wasn't even using the swatch. Oh, goodness. I forgot. Okay, bad Sky. Let's pull out some colors here just so I don't forget again. If I don't have them out on the desk, I will 100% forget. And that's a promise. We can do some different kinds of oranges. So we can maybe bring some burnt orange. It's a little bit darker. We can make some a little more yellow. So I'm going to grab the cadmium orange and then something a little bit darker than that too. I'm thinking the scarlet pink. That's pretty. Actually, maybe a brown as well. Not like super dark, but like an orangey brown maybe. I'm actually thinking oak. It's not orangey brown at all, but it's pretty. And I think we used oak on some of the lily pads, so I do like kind of bringing colors back in that we already have on the page, especially for shadows. And then let's see, I think for the gray or the white, I'm just gonna have some grayed shadow. I think we'll just use the Payne's gray for that. Okay, so we might just end up basing the fish in this one and then activating them in the next one. I might make you guys wait to see that. You guys can activate your own, but I might activate them different, so maybe not a good idea. I might make you wait just because I want to have all of the fish colored in for a thumbnail, and I don't think I'll have time to finish in this part. I mean, we could probably finish in this part. It'd be a little bit longer. I don't want to be too mean to you guys. Now that I have the colors pulled out. I'm torn now. Because we still want final touches as well. Maybe I should just pick out one fish and finish coloring it and then call this part a part. I don't think I want to finish any of the fish actually. I think I kind of want to wait a little bit on the fish anyways. I'm going to keep these colors pulled out for later. Keep the tangerine. We have a nice map out for them, but I do want to color these parts and I really don't know what to do for them. I'm actually thinking just coloring them, I don't want to say black because there's not really black on the page, but maybe even using the oak or like the dark chocolate. Which ones did we use before? We used, oh, bark. We used bark. How dark is that one? That one's fairly dark. If we use the bark with like a mix of blue, we can do some like white little dots in there, and I think that'd be really pretty. Or we could do yellows and kind of make it look like it's glowing, but I don't think I'd want to add any yellows to the flowers, so maybe not. Let's do the bark and the bright blue. I think that'll mix good enough. And then it'll give us a dark background for having that pop of white in there too. Okay, so I'm basically just going to color this whole center in with the bark. I'm going to do that on all the flowers. I'm not going in with like a super firm pressure, but I am just going over the areas quite a bit. Really get that pigment in there. All right, let's use some of the bright blue. And that one as well. I'm just gonna kind of lightly color over, add a little bit of the blued hue to this. Then we'll probably add in some of the, what's the other color? The thistle, maybe. All right, let's go ahead and activate that. Be real careful not to get it on the petals. I think this works. It looks really dark right now because it is, but it really brings out the color. And then once we add some white highlights in here too, it's just gonna look so pretty. Yeah, I like that. Okay, and what time are we at? All right, I think the last thing, well, not the last thing, because we will put our white dots in here this time, I think. We might as well. But I'm going to take my Stardust Jelly Roll and I'm just going to go across just the stream line thingies. So not the bubbles. Just going to do the streams, and putting this over top of the white pen really makes it stand out. So you guys might even be able to see this time, because this is a very subtle style of like glitter, so it's very hard to see. Like in person it's good, but on camera it's hard to see. It is kind of lifting the white off a little bit, so I'm just cleaning it off every once in a while. If you don't have a Stardust pen, you can use stickles for this. It's just not going to be as subtle. It'll still look really pretty. And if you don't want to use stickles either, you can just leave these as is. The white is already super pretty, and we are going to add stickles to the koi fish in some spots as well. So even if you don't want to do this step, your page will still have a little bit of glitter on it if you do that part. Yeah, I think I got it all. Just gonna clean off my Stardust pen. And I'm gonna grab my Uniball Signal. I think that's the one we were using. And then I'm just gonna color in the dots on the flowers since we have the flowers colored now. And then we'll also just add, I'm trying to pick out the dots that she already had on these ones. If I can't see them, then I'll just make my own, but I'm also gonna add all these tiny little dots here. Super pretty. We are going to do other highlights as well. Like we'll probably do some highlights on the lily pads. We'll do some more highlights on the flowers, but for now I'm just kind of focusing on the lines and dots that she has on these bits already. And then in the final part, we'll go through and add some of our own. Not counting these tiny little dots that we're adding. This one had like tiny little dots all around, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. We had a couple bigger ones in here. Kind of like that. All right, so what time are we at now? Not quite an hour, but I think this is a good place to stop. I'm hoping that part 4 doesn't run too long. We mostly just have the fish left and then final touches, and I don't really think they'll take long, and even if they do, part 4 can be a little bit longer. I don't mind, but I think this is where I'm going to stop for this one because I don't think there's anything else that I really want to add into this part. I kind of want to have it in its own separate part. Like I said, I'd like to do kind of all the fish together just because I don't want to have just one done. And like I said, also the thumbnail will look so much prettier if all the fish are done in the next part, because as you guys know, I like to do black and white thumbnails and then just have whatever parts we colored in that part in color. That way, if you're looking for a specific part, like for example, let's say you see this color along, you don't really want to follow it, but you want to know how I colored the flowers. Well, all right, you look for the thumbnail that has the flowers colored in and you click that video. So I like to have it little bit easier for you guys to find. Plus, I just think it looks pretty and it's kind of my style now. So I feel like at this point I'm invested and that's just how I have to do it. I'll bring this closer so you guys can see the glitter. It is still not really wanting to show up on camera, which is unfortunate. It's very more like metallic, honestly, than glitter. Let's see if I bring it. I don't know. Let me get rid of that. I don't think it's going to show up. It is very pretty though. In person, it is very pretty. Unfortunately, on camera, it just does not want to show up. Yeah, it doesn't really look reflective at all, unfortunately, on camera, but yeah, I think that's going to be it for this part. I hope you guys are enjoying. If you are enjoying, I would really love it if you'd give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you're not already. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it. I hope you guys are enjoying the process so far, and as always, I hope you are as excited to finish it as I am. And with that, I will hopefully see you in part 4. All right, guys, as always, take care, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye!